it's just about waiting. Just waiting it out. They're making mad money from you. I mean, I don't give a shit. Whatever, dude. Hopefully I'll put his kids through college if anyone actually is stupid enough to have sex with them. And then their kids won't be just as dumb as their dad.
I mean, I hate to break it to you, Hasan, but it's more like my great-great-great-grandkids at this point.
I walked into this like back like sphere Epcot looking thing in the back of like the house that P. Diddy was renting for his and was throwing after parties at Coachella.
I'm not the one who went to a brothel in Germany that was very questionable and apparently got raided or something. I'm not the one.
That's crass.
He came in, he said, "You can see my dick in this." And I said, "Hasan, I'm not looking." And then he proceeded to hump the air and he said, "Look." And I said, "I'm not looking."
It was a wild day online, and people were calling it a massive win for the unemployed crowd because the drama just wouldn't slow down. More Pegasus clips dropped, and folks were acting like the whole internet just finished all over again. Meanwhile, someone tried to clown Hasan by saying, "That's because you can't stop finishing all over yourself," which had the timeline buzzing like crazy. Suddenly, everyone wanted a piece of the conversation, and it got messy fast. Then, out of nowhere, someone threw out a line about a black Santa and followed it with, "He's gonna steal Christmas," which instantly had people shaking their heads because it was the kind of joke nobody was trying to hear in 2025. Folks called it corny real quick, especially when someone fired back with, "You are 57 years old. You're not in on the joke yet, cornball." And that comeback hit hard because the whole chat started laughing like they'd been waiting for someone to say it. But the beef with MorePegasus kept heating up anyway. Andy Pan tried sliding in with some jokes of his own, dropping, "Hey, speak for yourself. I haven't lost custody of my kids yet."
So he obviously cannot say anything about me directly. Obviously, there's no evidence of anything. So he brings up another random guy in the middle of talking about me, and then he says, "Oh, this guy's a p***o, and all my haters are p***o," right after basically calling me a hater.
That's exactly what my haters are doing out there, okay? It's just about waiting. Just waiting it out.
Find out that this is a common tactic Hasan uses to smear all of his haters so that nobody listens to them, right? And now I'm experiencing it firsthand, although, not to that extent, but I still feel like it's ridiculous, man. I don't know for sure. He's probably not yet, but maybe later. Maybe if I'm lucky. Maybe if I pray really hard. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not the one.
And that had everyone stunned for a second before the room snapped back into chaos. Pegasus wasn't letting that slide either, and someone else joked that Pegasus probably has like "what the hell," as if even they couldn't finish the sentence without getting confused. Things got even stranger when somebody randomly said "bark," old enough to spark, like they were trying to force a punchline, and then jumped into, "Oh, my dog looks at my Chinese friend," which only made the whole stream pause for a second because nobody knew what direction this comedy was even going anymore. But one viewer chimed in and said, "Even a broken clock is right twice a day," before following with, "I know who you are. Do you? You're an evil racist," turning the whole vibe into a full-on chaotic roast session. But jokes aside, Pegasus actually came back swinging and cooked everybody with a smooth clapback that had the chat yelling. Somebody even said, "Oh, the second time the clock's been right." And the timing made it even funnier. Then suddenly, Tech One entered the scene with a Discord call that popped up on stream. Everybody leaned in because whenever Tech One shows up, something wild is about to happen. Tech One sounded stressed, saying, "We gotta do something about this. This isn't right," and the whole call felt like someone was reporting a neighborhood emergency. Then somebody followed up with, "Girl," like they couldn't believe what they were hearing. And the clip ended with a voice saying, yeah."
So it's like he wants to talk about me, but he knows that he has zero dirt on me, and he's kind of hesitant to say anything. And also, the rest of my haters are a weirdo. Also, yes, let me end the sentence with Pegasus again.
If you can't clear 225 at least for like a decent 6 or 7, you should not be allowed to have any opinions on whatever I have to say.
"Officer, this is a Turkish guy right here around the corner." Yeah, that's the guy, making the whole situation feel like it jumped from internet drama to a sitcom-level misunderstanding in seconds. People were saying he's doing Pegasus dirty, like he's dragging him through the mud on purpose, and the jokes started hitting wild levels. Someone even said, like Haz is so old, he saw the towers fall, albeit smiling, and the chat froze for a second because the punchline was so reckless, it felt like it came out of nowhere. Folks kept pushing this idea that Hasan is a socialist while Pegasus is living in his head, red-free. And honestly, the back-and-forth energy had the whole timeline locked in. Yeah, people admitted it might be a two-way street, but the momentum swung hard when Pegasus dragged things so far that even Hasan couldn't act like he didn't see it anymore. He had to kinda nudge his own audience to look at Pegasus differently, almost like he was trying to stain Pegasus's name without fully saying it.
I love that guy. That guy is my favorite YouTuber, honestly. Every other day, there's another Hasan is finished video that comes out of those guys. It's fucking awesome.
I wonder how many hours a day he watches videos about himself by other creators, news articles, and reads user comments about himself. Seems like a self-absorbed person, and it must be exhausting for him.
Pegasus wasn't slowing down though. Every comeback hit harder, and someone joked that Hasan was asking for more, like he couldn't resist getting cooked again. Then the crowd started hyping this situation like it turned into a full series, with people yelling that it's a disease, a series, at this point, and claiming even Hasan's childhood subscribed, which had everyone cracking up. Suddenly the chat spiraled into wild predictions. Be in prison, probably lose his career by 34. Then more lines like, you should have at least 3 to 4 children, not a dog use app for shock value electricity now. Which sounded like people were just piling on chaotic advice. But then someone flipped it and said, I'm a humble king, don't get me wrong, but I will take credit in normalizing the hate of people over 30, and the room lit up again because it was ridiculous, but delivered with pure confidence. Then came the ego flexing. Someone shouted, Ida took it away for a while, but he lost his swag, and Pegasus clapped back with, well, actually yours is highest of highest. I'm literally that guy, pal. Which had everybody howling. Pegasus wasn't missing a beat, and every line was delivered like he had something to prove. The jabs kept coming too.
Basically, we've been popping for 7 years with or without this freak, right? Just establishing that we never needed this guy because that's what all the like Hasan Glazers like to say. That's just provably false, right? And hopefully by the time I'm his age, he will...
Making fun of people for their age is like the lowest of lowest.
How are you going to call yourself a leftist but not know your pronouns? This is proof you're a grifter. Which turned the whole debate sideways and made it feel like a boxing match with punchlines instead of gloves. And of course, Pegasus ended by flexing again, saying, I also bench more than Hasan, so even by his own logic, I'm allowed to speak, before dropping the closer, leave my boy Pegasus alone, you racist. That finale hit like a siren and had the chat exploding with reactions. The whole situation got so wild that people were acting like, I guess this yellow Omi there, bruh, and the chat instantly jumped into chaos. Folks were joking, just make fun of him for being Turkish or something. Mention sure. The Armenian genocide, all, and the stream went silent for a second because the punchline came out of nowhere and hit with that shock factor. Then, out of left field, even the Cockroach King got involved. And that had everybody losing it, because the drama kept pulling in new characters like it was a whole cinematic universe. In the past few days, everything exploded even more. Someone pointed out, yeah, a roommate, 184 videos, dude. To what? And the confusion in the chat was priceless.
Gaia, please! Get down!
People couldn't tell if it was obsession, comedy, or both happening at the same time. Calling him your favorite YouTuber and laughing it off was one thing, but everyone made it clear that not the part he implied. He was wrong, because that line went too far, even for internet power users. People kept saying the smartest move would have been to ignore the whole thing completely, and honestly, that would have saved everyone a lot of stress. But instead, Pegasus went viral, and straight up went from Singapore to SGA Rich, which had fans cheering like he just leveled up in real time. After watching all this unfold, some viewers even warned Hasan, saying, after this saga and Hasad, you better take back the mean words you said about Pegasus or I'll intervene. And the energy behind it felt like someone slamming a door for dramatic effect. And that fake laugh people always mention? Viewers were calling it out again, saying it's like a straight-up trigger when he is clearly bothered by something, and honestly, they weren't wrong because the tension was obvious. Then someone dropped the line that really shook the room. And it's true. Hasan, the only thing you hate more than yourself is the community you fostered over these years, followed by the emotional explosion of, oh my God, I hate the left, I hate liberalism, I hate everything that's going on which was intense even for longtime watchers. But unfortunately, we're right out of time for this one. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe to the BeyondFame channel, share the video, and see you on the next one.